I'm going to do a pretty out there salad, slightly alternative. It's a Tex-Mex duck salad. Now, we need to get the duck on straight away. So I've got my heat on, medium heat when you're cooking duck in the pan. I'm cooking it two ways. First of all, in the pan, so we get some lovely colour, and then finishing it off in the oven. So 2 duck breasts. I'm going to score it. And I'm actually going to take the skin off at the end here, but we're just going to keep the skin on for now to keep the duck breast really moist. So flavourings for this, a slight amount of olive oil, not too much. I'm actually just using a little bit of it so my spice can stick to the flesh there. So just a touch of that. A good pinch of salt on both sides. Turn that around. And I love a little bit of pepper. Again, always season both sides, not just the one. And some coriander powder. I love coriander powder, so this has just been toasted off. Be generous with it, in particular on the flesh side, because we are taking the skin off later. It's not as important as the flesh side there. So a touch on the skin there. And now we can start frying it. So medium heat, and this is going to render a little bit of the fat off. And we'll give that about 5 to 6 minutes on that side. Then we're going to turn it over, and I'm going to cook it for about 8 minutes in the oven. Now, my oven's quite hot. It's at 200 degrees. Now, for the dressing, I've got some chipotle in adobe sauce. I not only love to use the actual chilies there, but also the puree around it. So for this dressing, I'm only using the puree. And I'll use about 2 tablespoons, and I'm going to place it in the jar just to make life a lot easier. So a few teaspoons of that in there. Don't throw them away because they're fantastic in a chili con carne. So keep them, chop them up. They'll give your chili con carne great heat. Now for some lime zest. We want the zest of about half of this lime here. This one's quite a large one. Plenty, and we'll just scoop all that up and place that into our jar. A little bit of maple syrup, so this will balance out the heat from the chili, give it a slight sweetness. So a touch of maple syrup in there, and some mayonnaise. Now this is going to give it some creaminess. I've made my own mayonnaise, or you can use a really good quality whole egg mayonnaise. So a few teaspoons is plenty. Pinch of salt, some pepper, and now we can add some olive oil. So we want to start with about 4 tablespoons. I'm going to give it a really good shake, and if it's too thick, I always have a little bit of warm water on standby. We want all of this vinaigrette to coat all the vegetables and the duck. So let's give that a bit of a shake. Look at that colour. That looks fantastic. Let's have a look. Now, I'm also going to add some lime juice to this. I'm going to use the whole lime. Nice squeeze in there. And then I'm going to give it a shake and taste again, just in case it needs a little bit more oil. It might need some seasoning. Open that up. Just have a taste from the lid. Oh, that dressing is just superb. Now we can leave that to the side. Let's check this duck. I'll just get some tongs over here. We'll turn it over. Oh, look at that skin. Of course, if you wanted to, you could leave the skin on this duck for this recipe, but I'm going to change it up this time. Now that can go in the oven, like I said, about 8 minutes. Now, while the duck's cooking, we can get on to the veggies. Now, I've got a really crunchy, beautiful purple cabbage here. Try to get it as fine as you can. You can do this on the mandolin if you like. Think of what flavours go with duck. Duck's quite earthy. You want really crisp, fresh flavours to go with it. So crunchy cabbage is suitable. We want the freshness of fennel, again, loves duck. So I'll take just the base off that, and we'll take the first outer layers off. Don't throw those. If you can, keep them. They're fantastic in soups and stock, so I'll put that to the side. And all of these fennel fronds too, that's a great garnish. And in actual fact, I can even add some to the salad there. That'll give it a lovely anise flavour. And look at that, just the colours are fantastic. That bright, light green colour against the purple there. And then again, we're going to cut that down the centre and then finely slice some of that fennel. I'm going to cut that as thinly as we can. And I'm just going to use half of that fennel and some spring onions here. Just the white bases there. Again, as thin as we can get it. There are so many different flavour combinations you can add in there. Think of what Tex-Mex is. You could add some avocado, some tomato. Capsicum works really nicely with duck too. Be adventurous. Add what you like. That's what cooking's all about. And a few handfuls of baby spinach just to bulk it out a little bit. And some black beans. Now you can use all different types of beans. Kidney beans are fantastic too. I love how these are a little bit smaller. They can go in. And that's it for my salad. So we're not going to dress it. I'm not going to put the corn chips in yet. They need to wait to the last minute. All we need to do now is wait for that duck to cook. And then of course, we need to let it rest. It's gonna rest for about 4 minutes before we slice it. Now this has been resting, so we can take the skin off now. I'm just going to run just a small knife. See how easy it just comes off? And then you're left with that beautiful tender meat. It's really important to let it cool slightly too, because it is a salad. We don't want it to be too hot. So you can even cook this ahead of time, leave them in the fridge and then slice them up when you're wanting to serve this salad. I'm just going to use one duck breast for this, and I'm going to cut this as thin as I possibly can get it. Really fine slivers here. You can see it's just rosy pink. That's how I want it for this salad. Look at that, very thin. I don't want it to be quite chunky here. So very sharp knife, and then we're going to cut. Oh, I love duck. I say it all the time, but I really do, because it's so versatile. It's not just to be roasted or confit. This is fantastic in salads just like this that have a bit of guts to them. So last few bits, perfect. And I should mention when we're talking about roast duck, if you've got leftover roast duck, put it in this salad. It also works really well. Now for the dressing, we'll give it one more shake to emulsify it again. And then I'm going to add about 3/4 of it now. Have a taste, and then we'll add a little bit more just at the end. And we'll give that a really vigorous toss to coat everything. You can see I still haven't added my herbs yet or my corn chips, because I want them to stay as crunchy as possible. So for our herbs, fresh coriander that I'm just going to pick in. You can chop it if you like. And I will take out the stalks there. And now our chips. So just get a few handfuls and crunch them in your hand. I'm happy for there to be a few big bits and small bits. And then again, mix it up. I'll just check the seasoning and to see if there's enough dressing in there. I might even take that little bit of cabbage. Oh, so good. And we'll just pile this up in the center. You can see this is not just your average garden salad. This salad packs a punch. It's fun, exciting, but most importantly, it's super delicious. And the texture of those corn chips really transforms this salad.